mind if I sit with you guys? This guy's literally been following me in circles. I hope that the police are getting as much information as they can to find this guy, because I wasn't the first and I know I won't be the last.
Disturbing video of a woman's walk through the streets of Vancouver as she's followed by a stranger for more than 40 minutes. What she did to stay safe and her warning to other women.
We will be reaching out to you, and it is, for the most part, it'll start early in April. So over the next few weeks, we'll be reaching out and coming up with a plan across the province.
BC's essential workers are next in line for the COVID-19 vaccine. Ahead, who is eligible for the shot and how soon can they get it?
We had so much inventory of food, and we did not waste any of it.
When the pandemic shut down Major League Sports, Rogers Arena had a problem. Too much food, but no hungry fans. Well, that food did end up going to good use, and now the Canucks say they're on track to sharing 1 million meals by the fall.
It's goosebumpy stuff, really, it is.
Hey, do you mind if I sit with you guys? This guy's literally been following me in circles.
Yeah, that's cool.
For like 40 minutes, and I've been recording it. And he's literally just standing behind me.
He didn't have any fear to him. He followed me knowing that people were watching. You can see people kind of looking confused in the video, looking at me, because I was holding up my phone in a way that it was in front of me. It was obvious to everybody around me, and I could see what was happening behind me.
Followed for 40 minutes. A Vancouver woman says a stranger kept walking behind her as she made her way through the streets of the city on Wednesday. So she pulled out her phone to record it.
TNT Tinseltown area, I felt that somebody was walking really closely behind me. And so out of instinct, I actually just veered off the path so that I could let him pass. But instead of passing, he just kind of stopped and stared at me.
After a while, Jamie Coots pulled out her phone and recorded this 7-minute video. At one point, you can see something in the man's hand that he ends up tucking into his bag. Eventually, Coots approaches a group of skateboarders.
Hey, do you mind if I sit with you guys? This guy's literally been following me in circles.
Yeah, that's cool.
For like 40 minutes, and I've been recording it. And he's literally just standing behind me, and I don't know his issue.
Yeah, that's cool. You just pull up the safe.
In the video, you can see the man hesitate and then eventually walk away. Coots says she stayed with the skateboarders for 15 minutes and contacted Vancouver police shortly after.
We are currently analyzing this and looking into it further to see if this could possibly be linked to other events like this that have occurred either in the city of Vancouver or elsewhere in the region. Obviously, this incident is very concerning to us, and we take it very seriously.
It's still not clear why the man was following her, but since she posted the video, Coots says she's been inundated with messages from other women saying they've had similar interactions with a similar man.
What I was thinking about while it was happening was not the future, but more so the right now. So like, if I were to react, that's when he's going to react. If I were to run, maybe that's when him or somebody else would run towards me.
Coots says the reason she chose to record the incident is because she was worried what would happen if the man saw her calling 911. Angela Marie McDougall is with Battered Women's Support Services and says Coots handled this very well.
Every woman will respond in her own way, depending on the circumstance. And it's not up to any of us to judge or second guess what any of us do in that circumstance, rather to recognize that she did what she needed to do in that moment. And in this case, we're having a conversation because she memorialized that experience.
I hope that I don't run into him again, and I hope that the police are getting as much information as they can to find this guy, because I wasn't the first, and I know I won't be the last.
Anyone with information about the incident is asked to contact Vancouver Police. In Vancouver, Ashley Burr, City News.
It's the line BC's essential workers have been waiting to be in, the line for COVID-19 priority vaccinations.
Now that includes people who work in our schools and our childcare centers, first responders like firefighters and police, people who work in grocery stores, manufacturing, and food processing.
This group of about 350,000 people will be receiving AstraZeneca shots and will be getting their call for appointments soon.
We will be reaching out to those groups, whether it's connecting with police chiefs so that they know when to call in. Please do not call into our age-based hotlines. Those are specific for those clinics. We will be reaching out by specific industry, specific farms in some cases, and also be reaching out to the fire chiefs, to our police chiefs. We'll be connecting with the school system to do that.
Those working in BC's school system have been waiting for that call.
Teachers are reacting with relief. I mean, it's been a long haul. Teachers have been working under incredibly difficult and stressful circumstances. And so to hear the news that in April, in just a few short weeks, they will be vaccinated is, a big relief to everyone.
Another large at-risk group, those in BC who are immune compromised. That's about 150,000 people who haven't yet got vaccinations in other streams. Well, it's their turn now too.
Those groups will be receiving, a personalized letter from the ministry and the PHSA, who's in charge of this program, and advising them that they're eligible to get vaccinated regardless of their age.
Those in line for vaccines according to their age also moving up faster. People 75 years and older now able to book next week. That's a week ahead of schedule. But with all the good news, there's also the variant. The B117 now making up about 12% of BC's cases.
We're not seeing rapid takeoff with the number of variants. So it's not like they're adding on to the cases we're seeing. What we're seeing is of the cases, they're being slowly replaced by this variant being more common in transmission.
So, short story, we're doing okay now, but that could change on a dime. Restrictions not going anywhere for a few months, but there is light ahead.
How can we do safe graduation? How can we have small, safe gatherings over the summer period? I think, I hope and expect we'll be able to get back to similar to what we had in the fall with the groups of 50, and then looking at expanding from there.
For City News in Victoria, I'm News 1130's Lisa Yuzda.
Here's a quick glance at the COVID-19 situation across the province tonight. There are 622 new cases of the virus, and 8 more people have died in the last 24 hours. There are 136 new cases involving variants. 286 people are currently in hospital, with 85 listed in intensive care. Dramatic images from a 2-alarm fire in Vancouver last night. It happened on East 1st Avenue between Clark and Commercial. 5 people were able to escape the fire, and 1 person was taken to hospital for smoke inhalation. Firefighters had a tough time battling the flames because of a hoarding issue on one level. Investigators say the fire was likely an accident caused by a battery for a moped that was ignited while charging. We now know the name of a woman who was shot and killed in the downtown east side early Wednesday morning. 24-year-old Shania Paulson died after she was shot inside the Arco Hotel. No one has been arrested. Call police if you have any information. Human remains were found in Burnaby earlier this morning, and the death is being treated as suspicious. Homicide investigators say the remains were discovered just before 2 o'clock this morning in a mixed-use residential and commercial area. It's close to Weyburn Drive, north of the Deer Lake Parkway, not far from BCIT. iHit is looking to speak with anyone who has any information or who may have security footage or dash cam footage from the area. Vancouver police are looking to identify a man who apparently punched a stranger in the face for no apparent reason. It happened back in January near the Orpheum Theatre at Seymour and Smythe Streets. But police only revealed it happened today. Police say a 22-year-old woman was walking a dog late in the afternoon when the random and unprovoked attack happened. It left her traumatized but not seriously and physically injured. They have released the video of the suspect in hopes someone knows who he is.
The suspect fled after the assault. He was stopped and challenged by a witness who saw what happened, but continued on. The suspect is a white man, approximately 50 years old, average build, he's 5'10". He was wearing a light blue jacket or sweater and jeans. He's also wearing a mask, a medical mask, and had white hair.
Call police if you have any information.
So I think we're looking at a situation now where on Friday and Monday, we'll be looking at more bad news, especially for the two Michaels, but also for their families, of course.
A bleak outlook for two Canadians jailed in China, caught up in an international standoff.
Non-essential travel restrictions with the United States have been extended until April 21st. Public Safety Minister Bill Blair says we will continue to base our decisions on the best public health advice available to keep Canadians safe from COVID-19. More now on a cyber attack that's going to delay COVID-19 rebate checks that were supposed to be in the mail this week. Mike Farnworth is the minister responsible for ICBC. He says last weekend the corporation discovered the private Ontario company it hired to print and distribute the rebate checks was the victim of a cybersecurity breach. But the information wasn't made public until after 6 o'clock last night.
They have also been in touch with the Information and Privacy Commissioner. The only information that the vendor would have had would have been addresses and names, no personal data other than that. And what we have been able to determine and what we have been told is that none of that information was in fact accessed by this cyber attack.
The rebates to policyholders will range from $25 to $400 after ICBC saved about $600 million last year due to low accident claims during the pandemic.
Our goal is to get to 1 million by the time puck drop for next season.
Since the COVID-19 pandemic began, the Vancouver Canucks have made and donated more than 500,000 meals to families in need. Robert Bartley is the executive chef for Canucks Sports and Entertainment. He says a year ago the pandemic hit them full force.
That caused the NHL to stop, caused any concerts to stop here at Rogers Arena. We had so much food inventory in this building.
Bartley credits the Aquilini family, owners of the Canucks, for quickly pivoting their operation and getting the food normally served in the arena out to people in need in the community. Since getting that first batch of food out, the operation has grown. In an otherwise quiet arena, an assembly line now functions non-stop, not only preparing and packing donated fresh ingredients, but saving jobs for these workers along the way.
We have an incredible building here that's got a lot of firepower. We've got a lot of space. We have a lot of refrigeration. I also have got a very great team that I work with. And so by putting those two mechanisms together and with a great supply source, we're able to produce over 4,000 meals every day.
For example, some of the meals already served out include meatloaf with chickpeas and vegetables, roast chicken with sweet potato and peppers, and in today's case, baked salmon on a vegetable medley.
Over here, what we're doing is we've received in whole sides of salmon, we're portioning it, and then it'll go off to another kitchen where it gets cooked. From there, it gets cooked, it gets brought up to here, and now we have an assembly line, if you will. Right here, it gets packaged with a label that we put on it. It has nutritional information, but it also has cooking instructions as well. And then from there, it gets packed into these boxes, and the next day, it gets loaded onto a transport truck.
That truck then brings each package to the Vancouver Food Bank, Salvation Army, and the Strathcona Community Centre in the city's downtown east side.
A lot of these families are working, they're busy, and when you have the opportunity to put a meal in the oven and just have it ready, and it's delicious and nutritious, it's a rare opportunity for us to be able to offer something like that.
It's highly nutritious, it's healthy, it's not processed, it's all fresh ingredients.
The sheer volume of food passing through the hands here is staggering. 28,000 kilograms of chicken, 19,000 kilograms of salmon, 18,000 in vegetables. 1 ton of ketchup alone was needed to brush onto the meatloaf.
To give you a bit of a sense, what we would bring in for a week would generally fill that entire area right there, floor to ceiling.
A goal for 1 million by puck drop. That's ambitious, huh?
Yes, 1 million is ambitious, but we can do it.
In Vancouver, David Zura, City News.
It's got a different funky logo on it, which is kind of cool.
If that logo looks familiar, it's because it's the branding from the 1988 Calgary Olympics, and it's on one of 2 retro jackets this BC man, Brandon Chase, found a year and a half ago in Vancouver. He bought them for a few reasons.
but just having the ability to wear something that's really unique and fun and that has some significance to it. And it only cost me $20.
But there was another reason he bought them too. There were ID tags for a man who was an Olympics coordinator and passes to the closing ceremonies of the games attached.
When I tried the jacket on, that was like before I even bought it, I noticed that stuff in there and I was like, oh, honey, we need to buy this.
The man who wore the jacket was most likely present at those ceremonies, which lit up this area right here over 30 years ago. Chase wanted to learn more about the man who did wear those jackets, so he made a post online. This is where the story takes an interesting turn.
Some people said that it might be a guy who's like a fire chief in Calgary. A lot of other people said that he might have passed away because I guess if you're gonna, and it makes sense, if someone passes away, you might want to just give all the clothes away as just like that final, like, okay, let's just, you don't want to hold on to that stuff.
The owner of the jacket is Douglas Ward, and Chase would like to return the passes and ID tags to the family if they would like them back.
His spouse or at all wanted any of these things that were in the jacket. I would love for those to get back to her. It's kind of a little souvenir, but to someone else that might be something, you know, a lot more meaningful. So yeah, that would be like a really cool thing that I would love to see happen.
Taking quite a journey, the jacket's travels most likely started in Calgary, then wound up in Vancouver, and are now staying put in Port Alberni, BC. But Chase says they won't be up for sale.
Of course I'm going to keep them where I'm, when I'm having a bad day, I seriously just get so many compliments on it. So it's like my bad day jacket, you know?
In Calgary, Taylor Broad, City News.
The fate of 2 Canadians jailed in China since 2018 is about to be decided. Michael Spavor and Michael Kovrig were detained shortly after Canada arrested Huawei executive Meng Wanzhou on an extradition request by the United States. Now the 2 Canadians facing a heavy-handed Chinese judicial system expected to stand trial in the coming days.
So I think we're looking at a situation now where on Friday and Monday we'll be looking at more bad news, especially for the 2 Michaels, but also for their families, of course.
A bleak prediction for the 2 Canadians, who experts say face a system with a 99% conviction rate. Canadian consultant Michael Spavor expected to stand trial Friday and Michael Kovrig Monday, both facing espionage charges. It all started on December 1st, 2018, when Meng Wanzhou was detained at the Vancouver International Airport, accused of breaching U.S. sanctions against Iran. Shortly after, Spavor and Kovrig were detained in China on espionage charges, the arrest putting the relationship between Canada and China on ice. Meanwhile, some say Canada should have never gotten involved.
When the United States makes a request through the Justice Department based on a single opinion of a single prosecutor who is already biased in the United States, then you can't call it anything but arbitrary. And Canada should have been able to smell that right away and say no.
Across the Pacific, the Chinese saying they're following judicial protocol. China has made its position clear on the case involving the Canadian citizens many times. The judicial institutions in China handle the case in accordance with the law. We fully safeguard the legitimate rights of the people concerned. As for specific information, I do not have anything to offer at this time. Meng Wanzhou remains under house arrest at her Vancouver mansion while her lawyers fight her extradition, even as the 2 Michaels struggle in Chinese jails, living in harsh conditions. In Ottawa, Nigel Newlove, City News.
Vancouver's news is always available on the radio with News 1130 or online anytime at citynews1130.com. Your next edition of City News is tonight at 11. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.